Welcome to Old Boy TV. We'll be getting started momentarily. Just sit back, relax, and hit the like button. All right, welcome to Old Boy TV. We're gonna go ahead and get this started. We got a lot to go through. There's a lot of mess going on these days, and we're here to bring you the real news. Truth here in the house. Russian Truth, you in the house?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear. Let me all right. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get into some of this political news. And all this foolishness going on. How my volume sound?
Sounds pretty good.
All right. We're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna cut it down a little bit.
You know which way to go.
Let's cut this off.
All right, Bruce. Love you. Good night.
Give me a second here.
Yeah, but there was a lot that happened. There was a lot going on these past this just past week.
Yeah, I know we ghetto streamers, so hold on. Oh, my screen it. There we go. We get started with a list, a long list.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is what I want to get started with.
Oh no, not these. Not these.
No, these.
Nah, my brain cells. I already got a headache.
Let them talk.
No, I guess. I can't hear anything.
Oh shit.
And it had like 6,000 episodes.
Yeah, the view been out for a long time. Hold on.
I know, but God, dog, I didn't know it was that. Oh, gone.
You don't hear no volume?
Mm-mm. Nope.
don't know why they ain't playing no volume. Oh. Maybe take it off and put it back.
What was that on X?
Yeah, hold on. Not sure why it's giving us problems. Let's try this again. Still no volume?
Nope.
Not sure why it's not playing. Let's see if another video play. Any volume?
No.
Let's see.
I heard something.
Hold on. All right, I'm back home. Still nothing. Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Ah. Man, what the hell going on? I don't know. If you got anything you want to share, just go ahead and put it up. We'll make a way. What's going on? We have some technical difficulties here.
Yeah, I'm just here for a second, try to help you out. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, when you share your screen, the box that pops up when you share your screen, it should be a little box that says share audio as well. You gotta look for it when you on the StreamYard. It's with the StreamYard, it's probably not with your internal system.
All right. Hold on.
It's like a little check box in that box.
Also share audio tab. Yeah.
Their heads in shame, like
There you go.
All right, don't say a Democrat ain't never done nothing for you.
Yeah, demon correct.
All right.
All right, appreciate that. All right, I had to have my IT come in and help me out. We're gonna start this over. See what these cackling hens got to say.
Biden had been up there giving that speech, men in white coats would have interrupted him and carted him off and put him in a padded wagon. I thought today I would wake up and the TV would be full of like doctors talking about Donald Trump's cognitive decline. I thought it would be full of Republicans hanging their heads in shame like Democrats did. Joe Biden had a bad 90-minute debate. He said it's one episode. That's what we've seen so far. What we saw yesterday was a replay of Trump's 90-minute constant rallies. It's too bad the bandage was just over his ear. It should have been over his mouth.
These got to be some of the dumbest women on earth. There's no way they can be this oblivious to what's going on. She talking about this man had one episode. No, this man had 4 years of this. This has been
No,
going on.
Biden he had more than 4 years now. Remember, he was 8 years under Obama. He didn't have it. He probably didn't have as many or as noticeable episodes, but he definitely we saw that decline before he when he started running actually.
Well, I'm just being generous. I'm being nice. We're gonna
Nah,
scroll
screw
through the
that.
news and see what's going on.
With Ukrainian
Screw that.
President Zelensky. This is notable for obvious two reasons. Number one, it was 5 years ago, I should say, that Donald Trump had that infamous phone call with the Ukrainian president in which he implied that U.S. support to Ukraine could be held up if Zelensky did not agree to have his administration investigate the Biden family. And of course, that led to Donald Trump's impeachment in the U.S. House. And I think the second part of the obvious implications of this is the fact that Donald Trump could very well win the presidency in November and take over the White House on January 20th. And there is no indication at this time that Russia's military operation will cease in Ukraine. And Donald Trump has openly questioned whether financial aid should continue to go to Ukraine. J.D. Vance has explicitly suggested that he does not care what happens to Ukraine and that financial aid should cease to the country from the United States. And of course, Donald Trump has become a close ally of Viktor Orban, who really has been a key critic of expanding NATO and continuing for the EU to provide assistance to Ukraine financially. So there is a lot on the line for Zelensky and Ukraine, understanding if a second Trump administration were to come into power. And so clearly these two individuals, these two men, are jumping on the phone here with still 3 months until the general election, understanding the major implications that Trump presidency could bring to the region.
So it sounds like Zelensky is playing both sides right now. He's trying to get all the money he can get, no matter.
Oh, he's got to rub some elbows because
NBC News has now learned that.
Go ahead.
He's I mean, like he knows, like if Trump is in office, there's no more blank checks.
Yeah, Zelensky said he got to get out. He lives. It don't matter. It don't matter what it is. This is what a bunch of black women about to vote for right here.
Good afternoon. I want to welcome these leaders for coming in to have this very important discussion about some of the most pressing issues of our time. I am Kamala Harris. My pronouns are she and her. I am a woman sitting at the table wearing and good afternoon. I want to welcome.
She's a big dummy.
Why in the world would you introduce yourself like people are dumb? Like she literally thinks people can't read nor see. I mean, like, is she trying to describe herself to Helen Keller?
She was an idiot. That's what she's trying to do.
Now she ain't trying. She is that. There is no try.
It is
No try. Just do.
lowest income communities and our communities of color that are most impacted by these extreme conditions.
Well, why did you lock a bunch of black people up when you was California
issues that
DA?
are not of their own making? And so absolutely. And so we have to address this in a way that is about giving resources based on equity, understanding that we fight for equality, but we also need to fight for equity, understanding not everyone starts out at the same
We don't need to fight with no equity.
And if we want people to be in an equal place, sometimes we have to take into account those disparities and do that work.
It's the fact that the policies that she set beside Biden on that created a lot of those disparities. Like this dude reminded me of The Weeknd. I saw him. I was
A
like,
20-year-old loner.
Go ahead.
no, I was just saying he just looks like the Weeknd. But go ahead.
All right.
Gentleman yields back. Chair now recognizes Mr. Fallon from Texas.
How did a 20-year-old loner with a week's notice pick the absolute best location to assassinate President Trump when the entire Secret Service missed it? Director Cheatle, in your leadership, your agency got outsmarted and outmaneuvered by a 20-year-old. How can we have any confidence that you could stop a trained professionals from a nefarious nation state?
Those are absolutely questions that we need to have.
I know they're
answers
questions,
to.
but you know, the fact of the matter is we can't have that confidence. Director, do you have the ability personally, and do you have the authority to beef up security of any of your protectees?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So were you also aware there was a credible threat President Trump was facing? He was facing a heightened security threat to a foreign adversary?
Yes.
So given that there was an increased threat to President Trump's life, was he provided a full security complement akin to what a sitting U.S. president would receive?
He was provided a full.
And for the folks that don't know what's going on here, this is Miss Kimberly Cheatle. She's the director or head person of the.
She was
She was the head person of the Secret Service, and Will Makeaway said, should Trump now support strict gun laws? What you think about that? Russian troop.
strict gun laws. Define strict. I mean, he was supporting. He did support. I don't know if he still feels the same way about it. The red flag laws, but define strict. You already got to go through a background check. It's not like the gun is shipped to your door. Anything can be used as a weapon. I mean, just if the shooter didn't have a rifle, he could have used anything else. You got pressure cookers. Remember the Tsarnaev brothers with the Boston Marathon? They didn't have guns, but look at how many lives they destroyed. If evil wants to do what if evil has a mission, it'll find a way to execute it. The weapon is just a tool. It's the person behind it. So no, Trump's not going to, because everybody else, he was the only person that came in there. The guns were already illegal to begin with in the rally. The only ones that were supposed to have the guns was Secret Service and the FBI and all the other, local officers and stuff like that. So that stuff was already outlawed. You had people obeying the law. You just had the criminal that didn't want to obey the law. Murder is already illegal, but people still commit it.
Right. Let's see what Cheatle don't have to say.
Complement of security based on the threat assessment that we had.
That's not my question.
And the venue.
My question is, if he'd been the sitting.
Now, if you want to listen on how not to answer a question, this is a master class right here.
President, would he have had the same security he had on July 13th, or would have been beefed up?
There is a difference between the sitting president.
So your answer is he didn't.
And continuity of government and the responsibility.
So he
that we
did
have.
not. Okay, there wasn't a CAT team.
This is why she fired herself.
There wasn't counter surveillance teams on site. But this is the thing. You just said you had the ability to beef up the security. You knew about the threat, and you didn't. And that's as telling.
I think she's being used as a or she was being used as.
We have satellite images from the Butler Fairgrounds.
This goes way above her.
No, I have not.
9 days and you're not
She's
visited
an
the site.
idiot. She's a
Should have been there that
DEI
night. Did you talk to that evening? Did you talk to the team, the heroes that surrounded the president? Did you call them that night?
They were still operational work.
So that's an answer is no. Did you call them the next day?
President. Yes, I spoke with.
You called them the very next day, not the day, or was it 72 hours after?
I don't know the timeline, but I spoke with
Okay,
them
because you're under oath.
immediately
I
following.
think it was 72 hours after. You waited 3 days. What is immediately clear is that there are a number of structures that need to be secured. Of these, Director, other than the first, immediate 4, what's the most dangerous site that should have been secured? Because security 101, you got to mitigate the high ground.
Yes.
Okay. Do you know what the next most dangerous site? What was the closest structure to the president, other than the 4 immediate ones that you had your counter sniper teams on?
There are a number of structures around that event site.
You know who the shooter knew? The shooter has visited the site 2 more times than you have, and he had a drone, and he picked the AGR building.
So
you
pause
said
it
you
for a
remember in
second. So I don't, you might have this video somewhere, but they did ask her if she went to any briefings prior to this rally, if the Secret Service went to any briefings prior to the rally, and they didn't. She claimed that they did, but they have it on record that Secret Service did not attend any meetings, or yeah, they didn't attend the meeting before the rally was to start. She hadn't even been out there to the site to this day. And it took her, I think, like 24 hours to even get in contact to even contact anyone.
Look, she hasn't been to that site like Kamala Harris hasn't been to the border. It's the same situation. She's a
Yeah, but she
DEI
hasn't been.
hire.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was about to say Kamala Harris hasn't been to Europe either, so you know what difference does it make?
All right, let's let this white man grill her.
the ABC interview you did that you didn't have people on the roof of the AGR building because you were worried about safety because of the slope?
I recall that statement.
Okay. Does the Secret Service have written policy you can share with us about slope roofs?
No.
Okay. So why'd you act like there was one? Because is it your practice to comment on enormous events of enormous national implications when you're ignorant of the facts? That's rhetorical. So here's this thing with the slopes. You go all up to like 1812. You can go to a 112, which is about as flat as you can get without it being completely flat. And you're saying that there was a danger, safety concern there. But the problem is, Director, you put your counter snipers on a 312 roof, which is steeper than the 112. And by the way, the 112 is ADA compliant. You can build.
Dude, this man sounds like a roofer. Sounds like he done been on some roofs.
Hey, look, they weren't they weren't buying any of her BS, because it later also came out that the agents weren't up there. Nobody was posted up there because it was too hot.
Listen, if the kitchen's too hot, get out. If it's too hot, get out of the kitchen.
Talking to more than a dozen.
Let's see what Mr. What's his name, Alex Jones. See what kind of conspiracy theory he get talking about here.
Top military snipers and Black Op commanders, Delta Force, SEAL Team 6, SEAL Team 3, you name it. Some of these guys are household names in the military community. Many of them did not want to go on air. Some of them are coming on the air tonight in just an hour or so, 4 p.m. Central, and tomorrow morning. And they're saying, hands down, inside job, beyond stand down, multiple shooters, but also, this is from multiple sources, including Jack Posobiec, who has incredible sources from feds on the ground that are good, that they found in his car, that's Crooks, the patsy, and at his house, sophisticated military-grade explosives. He had help. He had offshore sites. He had offshore servers. He flew a drone.
Did it freeze?
Over the facility right before the rally began. This guy had massive help and was simply the front man. The acoustics with a whole bunch of engineers and others, and I talked to military that is looking at the acoustics, they agree, show that there was Crooks on the roof at 450 feet away, and right under him, the window where the other shooter was, and looking at the stands on how people were hit, and Trump's head turned, they couldn't hit him on his right side by his ear. If right here is where Crooks and the other shooter are, it's the water tower, which the feds have been guarding all week, kicked Senator Josh Hawley out of the area, won't let anybody get around it. And notice they never had a press conference. Usually have a press conference that day, the next day. You hear about the gun, you hear about it all. They're totally silent on an AR-15, which the left says they want to ban. So I have talked to Army Special Operations, Delta Force, high-level SEALs, leaders, officers, you name it. And they concur with what I said 6, 7 days ago, 8 days ago. This was an inside job. So, ladies and gentlemen, they're going to try to poison Trump. They're trying to blow his plane up. Truck bombing, they all confirmed with that. Poisoning is the main thing he's got to watch out for. He can't shake people's hands, folks, because they can have like a fake glove that looks like normal hand, and it's got all sorts of deadly poisons on it that'll go right through the skin, like fentanyl, pure fentanyl. Touch somebody on the hand, they're dead in 10 minutes. So the deep state's in trouble. Their whole system's been destroyed. I told you 2 weeks ago, I said by the 20th, I believe Biden will step down. Happened today. And I just imagine, take a few weeks of this, and then he'll agree to step down a few days before, which sort of signaling on the 17th, and then he's gone. I'm immersed in this. This is all I do. And it was so important for all these congressmen and senators to come out and say, look, this looks like an inside job, a stand down, because that puts pressure on Mayorkas. The deep state was obviously behind this to not try it again. That's why this is so important. Trump is 10 times stronger than he was before around the world, not just here. He's the real John Wayne wrapped into the real George Washington. I mean, this is happening. So I'm going to have a bunch of guests on today. The huge ones tomorrow, 11 a.m. Central. The deep state already tried to shut us down 6 weeks ago. That's a whole other story. I knew then. I said,
Mayorkas and Director of the FBI, Christopher Wray, about this epic failure of security. Can you walk us through what you'd like to see and your preliminary findings of your investigation, which has now become bipartisan? Is that correct?
Correct. I spoke with Chairman Blumenthal, the chairman of the Permanent Subcommittee Investigation. I'm the ranking member. He completely agrees with me that we must start doing transcribed interviews with all the witnesses now, while memories are fresh. So that's really good news from my standpoint. My staff immediately started reaching out to local law enforcement. We've gathered a fair amount of information. Again, we're just scratching the surface. But a couple of things that we found out. For example, the Secret Service did not even attend the 9 o'clock security meeting with local law enforcement. Pretty well put in charge the Butler County law enforcement to coordinate things. Law enforcement wasn't even on the same channel.
So that was
SWAT and
just to
sniper teams.
Just to be clear, Senator, that was a 9 a.m. meeting on July 13th, the day of the shooting.
Correct. Correct. Yeah, Secret Service
there.
had been there for site visits, weren't even there. Kind of turned over some of the outer perimeter stuff to local law enforcement. They weren't even on the same security channel.
So hold on. See right here. This tell me when the people was on the ground was trying to tell the police, look, somebody climbing on the roof. Somebody climbing on the roof. The police probably tried to call the security Secret Service, and they ain't not even on the same radio channel. This don't make no sense.
They were definitely scrambling. It was even stated that they didn't even have their body cams on. They were told to have them off.
Yeah, of course, because that was the plan.
Channel. So the sniper and SWAT teams weren't on the same channel as the patrol officers, and they weren't on the same channel as Secret Service. So they had to relay things. One of the things we found out is that we've got a more detailed timeline. This picture is now on the internet, but a photo was taken by the local sniper team in the AGR building at 5:14 of Crooks. So again, we had pictures of this guy. Why wasn't he intercepted? There's so many unanswered questions here.
The pictures were taken at 5:14, and he was shot at 6:11.
Correct.
Okay.
And again, we've got a more so I'm going to be issuing a preliminary report. It's preliminary. It's just scratching the surface. We're primarily going to release that report to solicit more eyewitness testimony. If you took video, save it. Make a backup copy. We can glean things in terms of audio and in terms of where the shots came from. Was it one rifle? Was it more than one? I've.
Oh yeah, we already know it was more than
something big's about to happen. I'm on record saying to Laura Logan.
We already know it was more than one rifle, and we don't need to see Montel Williams court.
Yeah, they back in on the 14th.
The team has a senior.
I was about to say back on the 14th. Even CNN reported that there were as many as 3 weapons fired at the rally.
Oh yeah. They didn't have they've had all audio forensics at this point, so they know
Mm-hmm.
it was multiple shots from multiple shooters. Let's
And
see
it's
what.
crazy because CNN don't even like Trump.
Listen, when it's this blatant, man, they got to tell the truth. Let's see what Green had to
From
say.
your supervisor, an advanced team, a protective intelligence team, a counter sniper element, and detail. Who was the agent in charge? How long has she been the agent in charge? And what is her Secret Service background?
So I'm not going to provide a name. of
Why
a-
not? You're here to answer our questions.
Get 'em.
Forum. I'm not going to provide names of.
You stated in your testimony, you said, I am here today to answer your questions.
That is correct.
Answer the question.
I'm not going to provide names of our
She
personnel.
had to resign.
to
Why
the
not?
committee Today.
The American people are demanding these answers from you today, Ms. Cheatle.
I will do the best to provide you accurate information based on the facts that I have at this time.
You're not answering our
Just
questions.
lift your necks up and
The
tell the
advanced
truth.
element coordinates with other intel or law enforcement partners, identifies threats and weaknesses at the sites and movements. We'd like a copy of the advance report. Have you brought it here with you today?
We will comply with the request for the documentation that has been.
This woman was
When
a
would that
complete
be, Ms.
disgrace.
Cheatle, because you should have brought it today.
She's not a complete disgrace. She's an absolute disgrace. She's like I said, if you want a master class on how not to answer a question, I will give her that. But she is a complete absolute disgrace. She's a monstrosity.
I am certain that our personnel are working on obtaining all
She
of
look
that.
like a demon.
I don't believe you, and neither do the people watching this hearing. You're not doing well, as Mr. Moskowitz informed you. You've been sitting here for over 3 hours, and I have you know the entire country is demanding
watching.
you resign and demanding that you be fired if you do not resign. Things are not going well for you. You need to answer the questions. Was there a protective intelligence team, and what technical resources were utilized for that event, specifically drone or helicopter assets?
I
There
can't answer
were
that.
a number of technical assets that were deployed for that event, and there was a protective intelligence team that was assigned to that event.
Why was Crooks able to fly a drone over the entire area the day of the rally and the day of his assassination attempt?
To my knowledge, he did not fly the drone over the entire area.
How did he fly a drone over the area, period? Any part of the area?
Again, I would have to go back and check the
Oh
timeline
my
of when that
God.
took place and when the event.
Why didn't you bring the timeline with you today to answer our questions?
I
'Cause
don't
I don't
have
give a shit.
all of the answers on the timelines based on the criminal investigation.
Were you not
She
prepared
was
today
told to give as
to
little
answer our questions?
I am
details
prepared
as
to answer the
possible and
questions
try to
based
blame it all on the FBI.
information,
She
that
definitely
That's
I
did
was
that.
able to
definitely,
provide.
Do you
yeah,
have
that's
a
who she
timeline?
definitely
that
pointing the
you-
finger
Do you
at.
have a timeline at all from any of the day?
I have a timeline that does not have specifics.
What?
That's
Horrible.
shocking. That is
Even
absolutely
hey, you gotta laugh back in the
unacceptable.
background.
That means you lied.
Oh,
That you do
they
you have a
started laughing in
timeline
the
at all
background.
from any of the day?
I have a timeline that does not have specifics.
That's shocking. That
How do you
is
have a timeline
absolutely
without specifics?
unacceptable.
That's
That
like
means you
having
are
a recipe without measurements.
Look again. Who hired this woman?
Biden.
Joseph Biden.
Biden. Yep. She's
Okay.
definitely a Biden hire.
And what kind of hire was this?
I mean, we all know DEI.
What does DEI
But-
stand for?
Didn't earn it.
Diversity, equity, and inclusion. What that got to do with protecting a man from bullets, terrorist attacks, anything, stabbings? What does your race, color, what you got between your legs got to do with protection?
Nothing, because all she wanted was a political stunt, and she got paid for it, and now she's going to be the biggest embarrassment in history, or one of the largest embarrassments, rather.
She more worried about 30% DEI hires in the Secret Service than protecting the former president about to be president of the United States. Let's continue.
Failure at your job. Let's talk about things that are prohibited in Trump rallies. And I've been to a lot of Trump rallies. Backpacks and bags, bicycles, firearms, any type of weapon or any other item determined to be a potential safety hazard, like a range finder would be one. At 5:10, Crooks is first observed by one of the snipers, AGR Sniper 1, at the building. 5:10, President Trump was shot in the face at 6:11 p.m. 5:28, AGR Sniper 1 takes a picture of a bicycle and 2 bags. Those belong to Crooks. 5:32, AGR Sniper 1 spots Crooks looking at his phone and using a rangefinder. 5:55, Butler ESU Command confirms receipt of photos and states they have been relayed on. 6:05 p.m., AGR Sniper 1 later communicates that Crooks is seen moving northeast in direction of Sheets and that Crooks has a backpack. 2 minutes before the shooting, while President Trump has been allowed to take the stage, people see Crooks laying on his stomach in a sniper position on the roof, and they're yelling he has a gun, and they are trying to alert law enforcement and Secret Service. Why was Crooks not shot by the snipers? Why was he allowed to be there?
As soon as
Inside
the
job.
individual was identified as a threat, they were
No. What do you consider to be a threat? A man with a gun laying in a sniper position, a man that had a backpack, a man that had a bicycle, a man that had a rangefinder. At what point is he determined a threat?
An individual with a backpack is not a threat. An individual with a rangefinder is not a threat.
What?
What about a man
That's how she
laying
sucks at her
on
job.
a building that has direct line of sight of President Trump with a gun that people are screaming and
She had to
pointing
quiet
out? Is that a
herself.
threat?
It just wasn't a question.
Ms. Cheatle?
Once that individual was identified, they were neutralized.
No, they were neutralized. Crooks was neutralized after he
embarrassing.
shot President Trump in the face, Ms. Cheatle. Is he only a threat once he fires the weapon?
As soon as the counter sniper identified
shut
that
up.
individual, they were able to neutralize them.
How were people in the crowd? Okay, then let's just take it this way. People under your command did not consider him to be a threat, yet people in the crowd knew he had a gun and considered him to be a threat. That means that you are a complete failure as the director of the Secret Service, that people under your command don't perceive a man laying on a roof with direct line to the president with a gun. They don't perceive that to be a threat, yet the people in the crowd do. How is that possible?
That's the last question, but please answer the question, Ms. Director.
I'm not certain at this time how the information from the
You
people.
know what? She sounds like a robot. She sounds like a robot. Down, A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. Like,
Well, that's how she was coached.
yeah. She
That's-
knew
that's how
going
she was
into
taught.
those. She knew going into those hearings that she wasn't going to answer any questions, and she was just going through the motions because she knew the next day she was going to quit. That's what this is a waste of time. The internet, the streets, the internet streets, YouTube streets, Twitter streets, TikTok streets, Instagram streets are miles, days ahead. All the information is already out. If you just paying attention, you already know what's going on. So this is a waste of time. I'm sorry I waste my time. Now, we're gonna watch Miss Macy next. This was probably the most explosive interview here.
Answer.
Oh yeah, Mace.
You're going to demand a yes or no answer. Do you understand?
I do.
Okay, my first question. Both sides of the aisle today have asked for your resignation. Would you like to use my 5 minutes to draft your resignation letter? Yes or no?
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
Do you hear what she said? She just said, "Would you like to write your letter of resignation? Just go ahead. You would." She said she asked her, "Do you want to spend the 5 minutes I have? Just go ahead and write your resignation."
Yeah, just go ahead and get it over with.
You knew from then on out. You knew it was gonna be a crazy.
Was this a colossal failure?
It was a failure.
Yes or no? Was it a colossal failure is the question. Yes or no?
I have admitted this is a terrible.
This is a yes or no series of questions. Was this a colossal failure? Yes or no?
Yes.
Was this tragedy preventable? Yes or no?
Yes.
Has the Secret Service been transparent with this committee?
Yes.
Would you say the fact that we had to issue a subpoena to get you to show up today as being transparent? Yes or no?
Yeah, she wasn't going to show up without that.
Yes or no? You didn't want to answer the question. We had to issue a subpoena to get you to show up today. That is not transparent, by the way. You stated earlier, Secret Service is not political. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Would you say leaking your opening?
Uh-oh.
All done at 5:24 a.m., 6:12 a.m., 6:34 a.m. A solid subpoena to get you to show up today. That is not transparent, by the way. You stated earlier, Secret Service is not political. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Would you say leaking your opening statement to Punchbowl News, Politico's Playbook, and Washington?
Hey.
Keep going out.
Well, that's bullshit. So that is not transparent, by the way. You stated earlier, Secret Service is not political. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Would you say leaking your opening statement to Punchbowl News, Politico's Playbook, and Washington Post several hours before you sent it to this committee as being political? Yes or no?
I have no idea how my statement got out.
Yes or no?
Well, that's bullshit. So, Mr. Chairman, I would like to ask unanimous consent to enter into the record articles by Punchbowl News, Political Playbook, Washington Post, all done at 5:24 a.m., 6:12 a.m., 6:34 a.m., a solid 3 to 4 hours before this committee got your statement.
Without objection to ordered.
Okay. Is the Secret Service fully cooperating with our committee?
Yes.
No.
Okay. You say you're fully cooperating
Hell
with this
no.
committee. On July 15th, this
Can't even get a full
committee
answer out of her.
of demands of information that we wanted. Has the Secret Service provided this committee a complete list of all law enforcement personnel that were there that day? Have you done that? Have you provided a list to the Oversight Committee?
Nope.
Yes or
I
no?
will have to get back to you on that.
That is a no. Have you provided all audio and video recordings in your possession to this committee, as we asked on July 15th? Yes or no?
I would have to get back to you.
That is a no. You're full of shit today. You're just being
Yes.
completely dishonest. Mr.
Chairman,
completely dishonest.
Mr. Chairman.
Chairman, I want to,
Mr. I'm
Come
gonna
on.
we have to
continue.
maintain decorum in this committee,
Any,
no matter
have
how
you provided
upset we
any
get.
and all memos to this committee that we've asked you on July 15th? Have you provided all memorandums within the Secret Service?
I would have to get back to you on
That is a no. You are being dishonest or lying. Like I just, you're being dishonest here with this committee. These are important questions that the American people want answers to, and you're just dodging and talking around it in generalities. And we had to subpoena you to be here, and you won't even answer the questions. We have asked you repeatedly to answer our questions. This isn't hard. These are not hard questions. Have you provided us all communications from the Secret Service related to that day and that rally? Have you provided this committee? We've asked for this information on July 15th. Have you provided any of this information that this committee has asked of the Secret Service? Any of it?
I'll have to get back to you.
Have you even read this letter that we sent you? Did you even read this?
Yes.
Okay. And you have said you don't know, you have no idea. Well, the answer is no. We haven't gotten a single document or piece of information or data from you or your agency in related to the rally that we have asked you for. So, was this attempted assassination of Donald Trump a failure of training or execution or both?
I think that those are answers that we need to
Training,
Shut up.
execution, or both? Which one?
I think those are answers.
All
we
right.
need
How
to
many
determine.
Secret Service personnel have lost their jobs due to this colossal failure?
None.
At this time, none.
How many Secret Service personnel have been required to take a refresher course on how not to let people shoot Donald Trump?
Our personnel are currently operational. We are examining the facts of this investigation, and we will make the changes necessary.
What time did law enforcement become aware that there was an individual on the roof with a clear line of sight to President Trump?
I am still verifying timelines.
Of course, 9 days in, you have no answers. How many minutes went by between the time law enforcement saw and took photos of crooks and the shooting? How many minutes?
I am still verifying.
She don't know. Listen. She don't know. She know, but she just not gonna say nothing. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I love a good conspiracy theory, UFOs, aliens, all that good stuff. So I found some stuff that's interesting. Let's see what we're talking about here. They say there was some UFOs out there. Now, what's that?
That's a bullet.
I think it's a bullet.
That's a bullet.
I don't know. I look a little high up to be a bullet.
Hey, we know there were multiple shooters.
I don't know. What about this? That was a bullet too?
AI is a powerful tool.
Okay.
I ain't saying UFOs don't exist. I just don't think they were considering this day.
If you want to really see something this.
I'm like in super slow motion right now.
Yeah, I'm noticing that. Okay, it went the other way.
So, which one was it? Was it a bullet? What's this? Huh? Who knows? Let's keep the news going.
I don't know about that one. That, like I said, AI is a powerful tool.
And you're never former. And now Trump's going to be hard to hit. And the experts said, we agree with your analysis. Next will be poison. You can't shake hands. They'll have a fake glove, looks like a normal skin.
That's a full show. This is about to be our next president, right?
Whole thing about the border. We've been to the border. We've been to the border.
You haven't been to the border.
And I haven't been to Europe. And I haven't been to Europe.
Oh my gosh.
Been to the border.
You haven't been to the border.
We are going to the border. We've been to the border. So this whole thing about the border. We've been to the border. We've been to the border.
You haven't been to the border.
This is painful.
You can stop it right there.
Painful. Freaking painful.
This what all the women. This what all the LGBT ABC want.
Mm-mm.
She don't know what the hell going on.
And I haven't been to Europe. We are going to the border. We've been to the border. So this whole thing about the border. We've been to the border. We've been to the border.
You haven't been to the border.
Haven't been.
The more she says it, the more true it becomes.
With Senator Harris confronting Vice President Biden at the last debate,
This
you
was
called
Trump
it
should
a
have
quote,
picked right here.
false accusation that Joe Biden is a racist. What's your response?
I want to bring the conversation back to the broken criminal justice system that is disproportionately negatively impacting Black and brown people all across this country today. Now, Senator Harris says she's proud of her record as a prosecutor and that she'll be a prosecutor president, but I'm deeply concerned about this record. There are too many examples to cite, but She put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and then laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana.
For weed.
She blocked evidence. She blocked evidence that would have freed an innocent man from death row until the courts forced her to do so. She kept people in prison beyond their sentences to use them as cheap labor for the state of California. And she fought.
But see, black people that's not in the know, they don't want to hear none of this.
It's not that they not in the know. This is the thing. They can tell you everything about every black celebrity, right? Like they can tell you what they ate for lunch, what their favorite fragrance is, you know, what kind of car they drive. You know, they follow them, right? But when it comes to politics, they just look at the color. And then of course, like what she's a sorority. I can't remember what
AKA
what house. Yeah. So they betting on her gaining that support. But it's like your ass has been in the White House for 4 years and you haven't done anything.
This white woman
Not
on
a
the right. This white woman on
huh?
the right is more. This white woman on the right here is blacker than Kamala Harris.
Oh, Tulsi Gabbard is smart. She dragged Kamala through the ringer on the debates. I mean, Kamala didn't even make it through. She didn't even make it past the first round. She didn't
Yeah.
advance.
But she about to be
She
our next president if y'all don't wake up.
this and I don't know why the left, like even BLM is not even excited about that. They are mad about that. I saw that earlier. BLM does not think that that's a fair that's a fair selection. Because nobody had a choice. The Democrats got rid of the primaries. So what did they do? They took away the voice from their constituents, from their voters. They're like, nah, we're gonna tell you who to vote for. We're gonna pick them for you. They took your voice away, but you know, democracy.
Yeah. All the Republicans is racist is trying to take your democracy, even though we're not in a democracy.
To keep cash bail system in place that impacts poor people in the worst kind of way.
Thank you, Congresswoman. Senator Harris, your response.
He's a racist.
As the elected Attorney General of California, I did the work of significantly reforming the criminal justice system of a state of 40 million people, which became a national model for the work that needs to be.
So what's her policies? What exactly did she do? She's just speaking vaguely. She's not even talking about anything.
No, she thinks her degree justifies her ability to run to be president. Like, just because you're a mechanic doesn't make you a great mechanic. Just because you're a doctor doesn't make you a great doctor. Okay, so what? You went into school, you got the degree, the title, but you can't perform. She's been VP for 4 years, and you cannot name one successful thing she's done. Maybe for the cartels, you know, she's been successful to them because she didn't crack down on the border. She left that bad boy wide open and made them rich. So again, and plus not only that, but she's talking about to uphold the law. The left love to talk about upholding the law, but it's already illegal to have the border open. It's in the books to have it secured, to have a wall. Now, it's not just Biden that sucked at that dropped the ball. Obama did, Bush did, Clinton did. Trump was the only one that tried to build a wall. And they called him racist for it.
Yeah, he's xenophobic.
It's
done.
Ridiculous. Go ahead.
And I am proud of that work. And I am proud of making
How are
a
you
decision
proud
to
to
not just
be
give
a
fancy
disgrace?
speeches
I'm sorry. Keep going. You can keep going. You can keep going. I was just venting.
or be in a legislative body and give speeches on the floor, but actually doing the work of being in the position to use the power that I had to reform a system that is badly in need of reform. That is why we created initiatives that were about reentering former offenders and getting them counseling. It is why, and because I know that criminal justice system is so broken, that I am an advocate for what we need to do to not only decriminalize, but legalize marijuana in the United States.
I want to bring Congressman Gabbard back in. You're responsible.
The bottom line is,
We know
Senator
she
Harris,
doesn't know
you
how
were
to
in a
shut her
position
mouth.
to make a difference and an impact in these people's lives. You did not. And worse yet, in the case of those who were on death row, innocent people, you actually blocked evidence from being revealed that would have freed them until you were forced to do so. There is no excuse for that. And the people who suffered under your reign as prosecutor, you owe them an apology.
She's a demon.
In clean energy and electric vehicles and reduce population, more of our children can breathe clean air and drink clean water. When we invest in clean energy and electric vehicles and reduce population, more of our children can breathe clean air and drink clean water.
Yeah.
Trump is shot, Secret Service spokesman Anthony Guglielmi said, quote, the assertion that a member of the former president's security team requested additional security resources that the U.S. Secret Service or the Department of Homeland Security rebuffed is absolutely false. The next day, Secretary Mayorkas said that is an unequivocally false assertion. We had not received any request for additional security measures that were rebuffed. But 5 days later, the Washington Post said this: top officials repeatedly rejected requests from Donald Trump's security detail for more personnel. The next day, the New York Times said this: Mr. Guglielmi acknowledged that the Secret Service had turned down some requests for additional federal security assets for Mr. Trump's detail. So which is it? Because both statements can't be true. Were you guessing or lying when you said you didn't turn down requests from President Trump's detail?
Neither, sir, and I appreciate the question.
Well, what were you doing? Because those statements don't jive.
So what I can tell you is that for the event in Butler, there were no requests that were denied. As far as requests.
Well, maybe they got tired of asking. Maybe you turned them down so darn much, they said, not worth asking. How many times did you turn them down ahead of that?
I think that it is important to distinguish between what some people may view as a denial of an asset or a request.
Well, is Mr. Guglielmi your spokesperson? He said he acknowledged the Secret Service had turned down some requests. I'm asking how many?
A denial of a request does not equal a vulnerability.
Well, tell me what it is.
There are a number of ways that threats and risks can be mitigated with a number of different assets, whether that be through personnel, whether that be through technology or other resources.
Well, tell the committee which it was. They asked for additional help in some form or another. You told them no. How many times did you tell them no, and what'd you tell them no to?
I can't tell you that.
Again, I cannot speak to specific incidents, but I can tell you in general terms, the Secret Service is judicious with their resources based on.
What does some requests mean? How many times? Some indicate requests is plural. So more than once they asked for additional help and you turned them down. What did they ask for and how many times did you turn them down? Pretty basic questions.
So again, without having all of the details in front of me, sir.
Fire
what
yourself.
I can tell you is that there are times.
You didn't get briefed on how many times you turned down the Trump detail when they asked for additional help?
I'm sorry.
You didn't get briefed on that before you came to this hearing knowing you were going to get asked that question?
What I can tell you is that in generic terms, when details make a request, there are times that there are alternate ways to cover off on that threat or that risk.
But that's not what he said. He said they were denied certain requests.
You're a numbnuts.
This is your spokesperson, not me talking. This is the Secret Service talking.
Look, now this is what I believe. You can pause it for a minute.
Unequivocally false too. Oh, by the way.
Go ahead.
This woman was brought on. You know, they brought her on, of course, as a DEI hire, right? But I believe this was a fix from the beginning. They brought her in, and then they making her take the fall. They made her the face of Secret Service. So she gets up there and she's the one that's getting reprimanded for. She's the one in trouble. Now, I of course believe that there were some things that she definitely could have taken care of on her own, common sense wise. But I believe that she's also taken commands from the tower, so to speak. She was told what to do. Like, how do you not visit the site after, I think by this time it was like 9 days? How do you not visit the site? How do you arm a previous president, with agents who are shorter than him? How do you show up to the hearing without any detailed information? You got a timeline, but it's not a detailed timeline. And I believe to some extent they did keep her in the dark because they wanted her to take the fall, and she took it. She listened to them. I believe they double crossed her too. I mean, like I said, it's common sense because it's not like she was new to the industry. She'd been in it for over 30 something years.
Mm-hmm.
But she falls under Mayorkas as well. So I think it's a bit of both. But nonetheless, they're making her the face of the failed Secret Service, because this isn't the first time Secret Service failed under her. And it's not the first time that no one was held accountable either. So she has a pretty crappy record. But I also believe that she also had pretty crappy leadership. I mean, the whole thing is trash. But I guess she could have made some moves. She could have. It's common sense. Anybody knows that. I mean, like I mentioned before, I told somebody before, Barack Obama had bulletproof glass. And why doesn't every president have bulletproof glass around them? If you're not going to give Trump extra security, why can't you give him bulletproof glass at least, if you're going to be? And it's not even like they were hurting. It's not like they were experiencing a shortage. So there's no excuse. So I think it's a mixed thing. But I definitely believe she was brought in to be scapegoat, because she's only been on under Biden. I think she came in under Biden during the Biden administration. I don't think she came in during Obama. I know she's a Biden hire, but you can go ahead. I just had to.
There were
say
some
that.
times where we didn't give them what they wanted. That's a huge change in 5 days. And the fact that you can't answer how many times you did that, that's pretty darn frustrating, not just for me, but for the country.
I hear your frustration.
Let me ask you this. Were any of those requests denied to President Trump's detail after you knew about the Iranian threat?
What I can tell you, again, I don't know the specifics, is that there are times when we can fill a request. It doesn't necessarily have to be with a Secret Service asset or resource. We can fill that request with locally available assets.
You spoke to anyone at the White House since July 13th?
Yes, I have.
Who'd you talk to?
I have briefed the president and the vice president.
Talk to the First Lady?
No, I have not.
Talk to the White House staff? Anyone in the White House communications?
No, I have not.
Have you talked to the counter sniper who took the shot that took out the bad guy?
Yes, I have.
And can you tell us about that conversation?
No.
I would not want to reveal conversations that I've had with my employees.
But that's exactly the kind of information the American people want to know. American people who pay your salary.
I understand.
Look at that scope
And
this man
this
got.
is an ongoing.
Do you see that scope?
Yeah,
This
that's not your Walmart quality right there. That's
This
not
man
T-Mobile.
could see through a wall, man. He could have knocked that man head off as soon as he saw him crawl on the roof. And they saw him crawling on the roof. They let him crawl on the roof, and they let him get.
He said he had him in his sight for 2 to 3 minutes, but he was told to stand down. Which, of course, that's what we heard about a week ago. Everything has just become lost in the sauce. Well, not necessarily lost in the sauce, but it's like all over the place now. So
it's definitely all over the place. Let's get to this one.
Fox News alert, we've obtained brand new video of the assassination attempt on Donald Trump. National correspondent Brian Yennis is live in Butler. Brian.
Jesse, good evening. We just obtained exclusive new video of the assassination attempt 10 days ago. It is the clearest and
Hey y'all, this is exclusive, so make sure you like this video.
closest video we've seen yet, taken by an eyewitness who was there with his family next to the AGR building as Thomas Crooks opened fire. You can hear 8 shots, what sounds like 8 shots, followed by 2 counter sniper shots, including the kill shot from the Secret Service. Watch and listen.
That there wasn't no LGBTQ man on top of the roof. Them last that was a professional. That was a professional. That wasn't no rookie. That was a trained assassin.
I would like to think that was it Cook? Was that's his last name, right? I want to make Crooks. Okay, Crooks. I said Crooks. Crooks. I also believe, I mean, of course, I don't believe he acted alone. He definitely didn't act alone. But I think he's also the fall guy in this one, because he's the only one that they have so far.
He was definitely the fall guy.
He led into it. They hyped him up or whatever. And yeah, he's the fall guy.
Look, they sitting there filming.
At one point, Thomas Crooks points his rifle at the eyewitness and those rally goers. This is what he told us about security on that day.
Definitely wasn't secure. I'm actually ex-military. One of the first things I noticed when we walked up, I'm like, none of us have been vetted. We're all along the fence. We all have view of the stage. We could see Trump.
John Grassley, Senator Grassley just released video as well of body camera footage, which confirms that a local sniper took a photo of Thomas Crooks before the shooting.
Thank you so much, Brian. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest.
Joining us now is Grant Cardone, real estate investor and CEO of Cardone Capital. Grant, the real results of Kamala and Biden's policies versus the razzle-dazzle that we're seeing in some of these early events. Tell us your take.
Look, just like you say, Laura, the razzle-dazzle is a sham. I grew up in the Democratic Party, had to leave it at 40 years old after being in business for 10 years and realized the promises that you're going to take care of me. Democratic Party has done this now my entire life. Promises of health care, free food, free housing, affordable housing, over and over. They have made things in the cities where they dominate. Housing is the most unaffordable. Inflation's out of control. And Harris has never held a job, a real job in an enterprising marketplace. America needs a reboot right now. They need a Trump administration that can stress people literally reaching down and getting the best part of America and expanding the middle class, not shrinking it. Right now, we have a shrinking middle class, a growing poverty, and a growing wealth class that they support there.
I mean, watching those videos of everyday Americans explaining why they had to dip into their 401k plans. They weren't buying, fancy cars or vacation homes. No. They were paying for basic necessities. And Kamala Harris had the nerve today to act like she's some new person on the scene with a whole new plan to fix everything that she and Biden just screwed up for the past 4 years. How dare she think Americans are that stupid, and how stupid of the teachers union?
Kamala
because
Harris
they are. No, that too, but no, she's betting on them being that stupid. You've seen how many have already come out in support of her just in the past 24 hours.
That's true.
They don't care what she has done. They just care what color melanin she is. That's it. They don't care about the accomplishment. It irks me that it's an obsession with color. It's like a religious thing. If they're black, you gotta go for them no matter what. Like it's like the melanin is God. It's got to be worshipped. We can't ignore it. We got no matter what, unless you're a Republican, then you're Uncle Tom and everything else in between. But it's common sense, really. I mean, like it's like you going to a mechanic. You're gonna keep going to the same mechanic that keeps screwing up your car. There's blown up several. Barely shows up to work when you scheduled an appointment. You going to keep going to them, or you going to go find somebody else? But hey, he's a brother. Smart, support small local businesses. But you going to keep going to them? No, you're going to go find somebody else that actually knows what they're doing. That's not going to waste your time. That's not going to waste your money. It's going to keep your car running. That's the same thing. Even a doctor. If you need a top surgeon, are you going to look at their skin color? Are you going to look at how successful they are in that field of expertise? If you need a very intricate surgery, what's the first thing you're going to ask for? Their color of their skin? Or how good is this doctor? It shouldn't matter. You've seen how she is, how she's been as VP. She has nothing to actually claim that she's been successful. She has a huge turnover rate in her own office as it is. They can't stand her. Obama didn't even come out to endorse her. So, and then of course, like, you can go and look at her ridiculous quotes and you can't make sense of any of them, but hey, she's black. No.
Yeah, that's right. And the
No.
black man gonna let you get your point across.
To fall for that nonsense once again. But although they're the same rerun, every election as well.
And just do the math, Laura. Look, she's never been paid over $149,000. She has a net worth of somewhere between $7 and $12 million. She would have been in office 84 years and never spent a penny to have her net worth. This has got to stop. And I believe with Donald Trump coming in, he will deregulate. He will provide Americans with the inspiration, not the handout, but the inspiration to create a wealthier middle class than we've ever had. That is my hope for this next administration.
Listen, it ain't gonna be no hope. Let me tell you why. Because of black women, old black people in the LGBT community. They about to try to vote this woman in. Let me tell you what's about to happen. It's gonna be a narrow election. It's gonna be a narrower election, and the only reason it's gonna be even close is because of the same people I just talked about.
I'm so hopeful that Donald Trump will pound Kamala Harris
But Grant,
in this primary.
Grant, she said today to roaring applause that she has a plan for the middle class. What's the middle class going to look like with 4 more years of what we've just seen?
Well, you're going to see fewer jobs. You're going to say AI destroyed the middle class jobs. You're going to see more of our jobs exported outside the country because we won't be able to pay the fees here.
Let me pause. What the hell going on here? Oh, we got a liberal on the stage.
No, I'm in the middle of the road.
Let's go ahead and hear him out. I'm gonna let you speak. Go ahead.
You think it's gonna be just a whole bunch of black women that make Kamala?
I think it's gonna be not just
all the black
it's,
women.
it's not just gonna be black women. It's gonna be your AKAs. It's gonna be all your sororities, fraternities, your gay black men, your liberal black men, immigrants that just came across the border. And
no, you got several states now That they nipped that in the bud, so
Of course,
it
your
ain't gonna
liberal
be.
states, your New Yorks, your Californias, though, that's already a lot. So that's what's gonna make it close. That's what I'm saying. It's a bunch of ignorance.
Well, I don't
They
think she's
don't.
gonna. I don't
Go
think she's
ahead.
gonna make nobody vote Democrat that wasn't gonna vote Democrat already.
I agree.
Maybe some of the AKs that wasn't gonna vote at all might vote, or black people or women.
They gonna vote for her. That's gonna be more votes for her.
Yeah, maybe.
Look what's going on with the country right now. You don't think that's a problem?
But I talked to a fellow, well, not fellow, but an AKA sister today, and what's going on within their, internal system, whatever you call their sorority. They might be at danger for even wearing their stuff now because you got these Trump deranged people out here that might want to, shoot them down just for being affiliated with the same clan.
That's a lie.
Hell
That's
no.
a lie.
Hell no.
The
Let's
devil is
see.
a liar.
These
See.
people,
Hey,
these Trump people want to take down AKAs too.
So let me
because
tell
they
you
Who said
something.
that? Who said that?
That's classified information.
No, that's
Yeah,
classified information. Okay.
You sound like
So
that
this is
woman,
the,
Cheatle.
but see,
SVU.
okay, so check this out, right? So it's been what 10 days since the assassination attempt on Trump. What attack has happened from any Republican supporter, conservative, MAGA? If there was going to be something, don't you think it would have happened by now?
Well, you never know. This is the element of surprise dealing with,
No. You had George Floyd riots that burned down the streets, but you didn't have Republicans going out there and burning down the streets when Trump
time
didn't make it in, when Trump didn't make it back into the presidency.
Every time something happens, it's always the liberals.
Well, we just had something happen the other day, but that woman got shot, and liberals ain't making no noise. On being
What-
Trump,
what
the one making
shot?
noise.
Who got shot?
She was she was holding a pot of boiling water.
Oh,
she
the
needed to be
one that
shot.
was the one
Oh,
that
no.
was she had those two cops. I saw that video last night. She was in the kitchen, but she's like, "I rebuke you in the name of Jesus."
That's
Yeah.
a weapon. Hot boiling water in the pot. That's a weapon. That's like a knife.
But she didn't have it in that motion that she was about to throw it. Kind of like a quarterback.
Well, they told her to put it down.
But he told her to pick it up.
No, he told her to put it down. They said put the pot down.
But he said, but she wasn't paying no attention to that. But he said, you don't want to start a fire, so move that.
Well, yeah,
pot.
because it was on. Yeah, because it was on the stove. You're right. It was on the stove, but he stepped back, and he was like, and she was like, "Why did you step back?" He was like, "I just don't want to," because he didn't know what she had planned.
Well,
And
bottom line
then
is-
they told her to put it down. I mean, I know
gotta
it's up
find
for
this
debate. It's but that you talking about one incident.
yeah, well, there was no riot from the liberals.
Right,
That
but
was a
I'm
black
not saying
woman
they.
getting shot by a white
Yeah,
man.
but they're not always going to riot. I ain't saying they always going to riot. They showed didn't riot for that for those babies that get shot up in Chicago either. I
All
don't
right, I
see
think
them
I-
outside rioting for them.
All right, I think I found the exclusive footage. Hold on. You can only find this on Old Boy TV. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, share. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, share the Rush of Truth, and we'll make a way. Oh, let me pull this bean footage up. Give me 2 seconds here. Let's see.
Now, if it's some graphic footage, you might want to be careful.
Yeah, I don't know which one you got.
Yeah.
Too late. Oh, this is like a hold on. Let's see what we can get here.
And then you can dig around for your paperwork.
I don't know.
Hold on. Oh no, I can't show all that.
Yeah.
Definitely bad.
Yeah, you can't show all that.
Yeah,
Yeah. We can talk about it though.
But see,
We
this
can
why
talk about
Trump it's the best time for Trump to be an advocate of not stricter gun rights, I should say, but gun safety. But
I practice gun safety.
I heard what Rush Truth was saying earlier, but a person that's looking to commit a crime don't give a damn about none of that anyway. So it's a catch-22.
But see, this is another thing, right? So, take for instance, okay, we talking about this situation right here. Okay, the cops, they had their weapons drawn, but she had a pot of water. Now, what if they didn't pull their weapons at all, and she just tossed the boiling pot of water at them?
But it wouldn't have been dead.
What then?
They would have been dead, but it would have been permanently mutilated. So what's worse?
They would have been blind. They would have been a lifelong, a life full of therapy, skin grafts, medical needs, and all of that, just from a woman having a pot of boiling water. It's a weapon, regardless. But
there was no indication that she was looking to use it as a weapon.
But why didn't she just comply with the police, whatever they said to do? Why didn't she do that? Why is it always? Why are black people always making an excuse for not doing what they need to do?
Because she called for help.
Well, she called for help. She called for help. We didn't see the start, the beginning of it. They showed up. They did they looked around the house. Because she said there was somebody in her yard or something like that. The dispatch tried to get off the phone with her, and she told them to hold on. But she was acting kind of funny when they showed up anyway. I mean, they were patient with her. They answered all her questions and told her that they had looked around the house and everything, that they didn't see anybody. They even asked about the car in her yard. Said, "Is that your car?" She was like, "Oh, they brought it." Well, who's they? She never said who. She didn't disclose who.
Well,
and then they end up going inside.
She was a quirky person, kind of like a female Mr. Bean. So that's just how she was.
Nah, Mr. Bean was funny. Now she wasn't funny. Yeah, she just make you not want to feel safe and not want to step foot on her property, even just to deliver mail.
Oh boy, a quarterback is looking to make a pass. It's not a pass so he cock his arm up but so far, right? Until then, it's not a what you call it,
Brady rule.
Yeah, a fumble or whatever. It's the same way with that water.
Pass 90 degrees in order for it to be a forward pass.
Right.
It's behind 90 degrees, which this lady she was behind 90 degrees.
Hell no.
So you're wrong. It's called a penalty.
But see, this is the thing
15
too.
yards, first down.
This is the thing too. He said he brought her attention to the boiling water, right? Okay. So then she goes over there. Why didn't she just move it off from one eye to the other? She picked it up and then she said, "I rebuke you." He mentioned that he moved because he wasn't sure, because he's a person too. He want to go home. He probably got a family, wife, kids. He want to go home at the end of the night. So he stepped back because she got a pot of boiling water. She just bypassed the stove. And then she says, "I rebuke you in the name of Jesus." Why would you say that?
You got two big white rhinos in there.
She called for him. She didn't seem scared when she opened the door.
Let's see this footage. Hold on.
You could have tased
y'all. Slow down.
Don't show. I'm just saying, just be careful about what you show.
I don't care.
Yes, you do.
Let's roll this footage. See what the hell going on here.
Check on her. We don't need a fire while we're here. Right.
Look at her house first off.
But does she appear to be a threat though? No matter how her house look.
Well, I'm about to find out. Don't worry. I'll be there.
That's a sign of help.
Huh? Away from your hot steaming water. Away from hot steaming water? Yeah. Oh,
look at that big ass TV.
You better not. I swear to God, I'll shoot you right in the face. Drop the pot.
Go ahead, pause it. Go ahead, pause it.
Pause it. You see, she even ducked when he pulled that gun out.
All right,
how she gonna throw a hot pot of hot water like that?
Hold on, damn it! Now let me make this assessment, because I can't get a word in.
Because you're wrong.
Like I said, let me make the assessment on this. From what I'm looking at from here, the police ain't right on this. I can't
scroll it. You can roll it back. You can roll it back.
I can't say the police right. Hold on. I can't say the police right on this. Now it did look like she had a bot. You got to think. You're a police officer. You don't know what you about to run into, no matter where you're going. This is your job to deal with a bunch of bull crap every day. You don't know if somebody about to come in there. You don't know if she got an AK-47 or AR-15, a pistol, a shotgun, or a pot of boiling hot water. So they got the excessive threat. They going home. This is what I'm thinking. And this is how you got to think. I'm going home. no matter how jacked up that, I know that's gonna sound jacked up to these liberals out here and these gun law people that don't want guns on the streets, but I'm going home. So whatever I got to do to stop the threat, that's what I'm gonna do. All right, y'all go ahead. Yeah, exactly.
No, we were just listening to you. You finally got. We weren't sure if we were supposed to step in or not.
Excuse me, I was on mute. But you did clearly see her duck, right? When the gun
Because
came out.
she messed up at that point.
And so what happened is she came back up to see they still had the gun out. When she came back up to see they still had the gun out, pow! There was no no throwing motion, man.
Didn't I just agree with what you just said?
They did fire the cop. I don't know. Did both cops get fired or no? One was
No,
fired.
this the one that shot. He got more than fired. They hit him up with murder, but what?
Well, yeah. He got charged, yeah. But
Yeah. No
I
bail.
thought they were both shot.
Like afterwards, the way they was talking, the partner kind of known that the guy that shot her, he effed up. Cause he went and tried to help the lady. The one that shot her, he even tried to help her. But he knew his partner messed up.
I don't think I saw that part. The video I saw, I think, cut off at that part.
Yeah, well, if you do some YouTube search, it's a part where they was talking afterwards, and he was kind of like freaking out, like, "Oh shit, like what did I do?" Type of stuff. He's like, "What was I supposed to do? She had a pot of boiling water." And the partner was like, "Man,
no, they wrong. They wrong on now."
That's the dude that shot. The partner knew he was wrong, but it was too late by then. He tried to help the lady. Said she got shot right below the eye, in the face. And he said that before he shot. He said, "I would shoot you in the effing face."
And they did a
headshot.
He
did. He gave her. He did say that.
A headshot. That was Black Lives Matter right there. I ain't got nothing to say on now.
They need to sentence that man to the firing squad. That would they need to sentence him to.
No, he gonna get about 5 years, 10 years. He a police. They get immunity.
Nah, he white. He white. He gonna get longer than that.
Black Lives Matter, God. So we'll make them happy on that.
Well, right now, Ben Crump looking for that money.
Oh, their family about to get a big check from the department.
Yeah, you know Ben Crump.
He sound like a liberal.
Yeah, you heard he's an ambulance chaser.
Yeah, big ambulance. He's the modern day I guess with Jesse Jackson or something like that.
Something like that.
But he don't preach. He don't preach, but he jump on these big cases when involving black folks getting killed.
There was another one that he was in recently. I can't remember. It was one not too long ago. I think it was one with a black kid that was involved that had gotten shot. But yeah, he's a civil rights lawyer.
Well,
yeah.
He's now America's go-to police brutality lawyer.
So let me ask you a
That's what they
question.
call him.
It's been a while since I've been up on the panel. I was able to cook y'all. But when Trump did that first speech at the since he'd been shot at the conviction, whatever it was, convention, whatever that was,
a rally.
Did it
talking
seem
about
like
the RNC or the rally?
I guess the RNC, that week-long
yeah, the RNC, yeah.
Did it seem like he was a little humbled or at least brought down a notch or toned it down because of what happened? I mean, could you imagine after that happened
Well, I mean, he had a lot of people did point that out, that he did look like he looked different after the fact, because you just had a brush with death.
Right.
Like it's the fact of like your life was literally just a snap. Like in a mere second, you were almost gone.
Right.
So a lot of people did notate that, but they felt like that he just looked stronger and more determined as well.
Well,
that's what I saw when I was looking through everything. I mean, he did look bigger and different. He didn't come out the same way he had before. That's for sure.
Right. Now I was telling a Trump hater before that this might make him a better president, because having that brush with death is kind of like make you take a second look at everything.
It can. I mean, you think about like how close you were almost removed, and then now you look at it. You can look at everything different. Yes, I will agree that you can look at everything different, and he can actually say he took a bullet for this country. He's actually said that. He said he's taking it. He said he's taking a bullet for democracy.
Well, John McCain took more than that, and he ain't getting nowhere. So
John McCain was we don't talk about John McCain. John McCain was a president up there and almost assassinated. Yeah, he served the country. He did do that, but he wasn't on live television running for president and got let down by Secret Service.
yeah, they.
I mean, Trump's not the first one. He's not the first one, but he, as of today, in today's, he's the one that can say it.
Now, I'm not saying that you should just take shots at people willy nilly, but if you see that boy, if they claim Secret Service saw him before he took the shot, if that's true, do you just kill him? I mean, how would that look if it even get reported?
Yes, you just kill him.
Even though he
up
didn't.
there with. Go ahead.
Even though he didn't, I guess so-called do anything. I don't know what the laws is in the state he was in as far as guns concerned.
You talking about Crooks? The guy that shot at Trump?
Right. If it's reports that they might have seen him before he did that. I don't know how true or false that is.
They said that there's a lot of people that said they saw him beforehand.
But
and then of course, like eyewitnesses on the ground before he pulled the trigger said, there's all that footage out too.
But did the Secret Service see him beforehand? I know, like regular people say they saw him, but what about the Secret Service?
Secret Service is who's in question.
Well, I'm saying, go ahead.
No, because they Cheatle dropped the ball, and I mean everybody's trying to find the missing pieces because stuff is just they slowed down the information. FBI even kicked off what's his name, that Josh Hawley. He went over there to go see the area, and FBI he had permission to be there, but FBI tried to kick him out. I believe they saw him.
You believe the Secret Service saw him?
I believe Secret Service saw him. I believe law enforcement saw him. I believe all of them saw him. I don't believe the kid acted alone at all. That's just too much for him. For him to have offshore accounts and all of the stuff that he had, no, he definitely didn't act alone. Because and there's also there's also another guy. I saw it earlier that they have a guy out in the on the water tower.
So if they saw the attempted assassination shooter, they could have just popped him, even though he didn't, I guess, do anything before he shot the gun.
Yes.
Well, he came there like he had the weapon already out. They saw him with the weapon. They saw him out there beforehand. He was flying a drone. That's illegal in and of itself. Maybe not shoot him, but at least go get him. If he doesn't have the weapon pulled, no, don't shoot him, of course.
Right.
But if he's looking suspicious and he's out there, he's got a drone on him. People notice him with a rangefinder. He's got a bike. They said bikes aren't allowed in the rallies. So he's got all of this stuff. And then if one person did say, I just saw a video not too long ago where they said that they did have him. He looked suspicious, and then they lost track of him. And then that's when they didn't see him again until he was down on the roof. Well, dead on the roof.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of missing pieces. That's why when they held that the thing yesterday, she wasn't answering any questions, so nobody could get any. They asked all the good questions on both the right and the left, Democrat and Republican. They were asking great questions. She wasn't providing any answers.
Well, I mean, it's still certain stuff that's classified. So, like, I think one of the people asked her for the conversation she had with the dude that shot the killer. Like, I don't think that she can even. Well, I guess she could since she resigned, but say that on national TV. Like some of the questions they was asking is like, off camera type answers.
Well, maybe some of them, but there was a lot of them. Like, okay, so one, if you're Secret Service, if you're over Secret Service, it is your responsibility to know the details as much as possible on everybody that you protected, especially presidents. She couldn't even tell them how tall Trump was. And then she didn't even have a detailed timeline of things that occurred. How do you show it without a detailed timeline? They're going to ask you detailed questions. They're going to ask you, why was it this? What happened between here, and here? And then they asked her, like, she hadn't even attended to this day. Of course, she'd resigned already, but she hadn't even attended the site yet. She couldn't even tell them how many rounds were fired from on top of that building from the shooter. So certain questions may be classified, but then there was others that she definitely should have been able to answer, but she didn't.
Well, let me ask this question. Now, she was head of the Secret Service, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not just the Secret Service over Trump's, whatever's assigned to him, the whole entire thing, right?
Right.
So you got Obama walking around, you got Trump walking around, you got Joe Biden wherever he at, you got Bush Jr. wherever he at. So it's a lot of stuff going on. Let me put it this way: if I work in a call center and I got a manager, that manager can just pop up out of blue air and tell you how many phone calls I done took. Because it's so many moving pieces. So she delegated, and it's unfortunate. It's kind of like if you're a coach of a team and a player mess up, the coach getting fired. So if she's over the Secret Service, she's over all because these people get this protection for life. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah, they get it for life. They get it for life. Their immediate family, their grandkids get it for life. Yeah.
So even what's that old president still around here in that wheelchair? I think the oldest president is still living. He's still living? Carter?
Come out. Carter. No, I think Carter died.
What's the one in that wheelchair? I think his wife
Was
died.
it Reagan?
One of them. But even he's still getting protection.
Yeah, they still get protection. But see, this is another thing too that's kind of like, that kind of makes it so he allegedly had threats from Iran. Iran had threatened to try to assassinate him or take down Trump. That was disclosed and that came out. Secret Service was aware of that. So there was a threat out there. And plus he's running for president. And anybody that's on the campaign trail, she even said it. Anyone that's out there campaigning, they also get Secret Service. So I mean, we all know, no matter what our political views are, Trump is hated a lot. He has the biggest hate crowd out there. I agree with that. So knowing that point in and of itself, it's common sense to be like, okay, he is the most hated. Somebody unhinged is more than likely gonna take aim at him at some point in time. Let's beef up his security. He asked for additional snipers, Secret Service. He asked for that and he was denied. They have that on record that he was denied additional protection.
It was limited resources or something like that. They're saying, right?
No, they said no. They didn't say. They said there are no limited resources. That was another part of the question from yesterday. They're like, so there's no limited sources. There's no limited resources. We're not short staffed, are we? And she was like, no. She was like, then why was he denied? And then she was like, well, he didn't ask again or something like that. And they were like, well, maybe he got tired of asking. Oh boy, what you got?
I ain't got nothing. I'm about to just hit this video up, and that's gonna be a wrap on this one.
Go ahead.
Talk, you know that I prefer a black female. You've committed to a woman. You've committed to a woman, a black woman, to the Supreme Court. I won't press you on that because you've given it to a committee. But for the record, we have had that discussion and you listened and said you're going to make the decision after the committee raises it. And credible leaders, Melanie Campbell of the Black Women's Roundtable and others have raised it. And part of it, I think, is the sensitivity of black women have to deal with sexism and racism. You know, I stopped And you and I have talked. You know that I prefer a black female. You've committed to a woman. You've committed to a woman.
That dude is a joke.
Which one?
Both of them.
There you go.
Y'all got anything else?
Well, Biden was all right when he was vice president. He was snappy, speedy, witty. When he was under Obama.
He was all right when was it back in the 70s and 80s? That's when he made the most sense.
Well, he's supposed to have, I don't know what time it is, his official coming on air addressing this dropping out the race thing tomorrow, I believe. I'll probably doing prime time. So y'all look out for your chief and commander or whatever he is to come on TV to tell you why he doing what he doing.
That man is a joke, man. Well, we're gonna wrap it up on that, man. I appreciate y'all coming on Old Boy TV tonight. Y'all got anything else?
Nah, just find me on YouTube. I finally got that rolling.
We'll make it when we gonna do another stream.
I'm gonna see what I got going on tomorrow. I'm trying to do one. I'm on the gender war tip with my channel right now. So
that's fine.
I'll keep you posted.
All right. Well, yeah. I appreciate y'all for checking out Old Boy TV tonight, man. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, share, leave some comments, and we'll see you on the next one.
All right, vote blue.
Yeah.